Namaste, and welcome to our continuing series, Interviews with Disciples and Devotees. Today, we are very honored to have back with us Dr. Madhusudan Patel. And he has written a new book, and we'll speak about this and many other things. Namaste, Madhusudan.
Namaste, Narad.
So happy to have you back.
Same here.
Oh, we have so many things to cover. I'd like to cover this aspect that's so prevalent now in the world with its accompanying fear of so many millions that need not be. Could you tell us a little bit about the COVID in Europe, and you have the experience of the people in Europe and what they are going through?
It's amazing that people say they believe in God, they believe in the divine, and then somehow I see that they truly don't even consider the fact that there is the divine. It is just impossible for me to believe that anything can ever take place in this universe without them being involved. I'm talking about great masters like the Mother and Sri Aurobindo, in other words, of the divine. If this creation took place through Brahman, through this divine energy, my goodness, how can anything take place without the Creator's involvement? It is like people, honest to God, think only good things that they like would happen through the divine. And when calamities happen, they forget the divine, they pray to the divine, and they ask to be protected and so on, but they're so selfish, they don't even look at the whole aspect of this creation. And I think this pandemic, this incredible health problem worldwide, is very symbolic. You have to look behind the dynamics. What is driving? What is it? Why is it came? What is it going to do? And believe it or not, I'm 100% convinced that in the end, this world and this creation will be even better and further. It will evolve. Because we have gone through so many calamities. I know of people who, during the war in Germany, thought it was the end of this universe, of this world. The Second World War, but also the First World War. And they thought it was the end, not only of Germany, but it was the end of the world. And today, Germany is far better off than before the war. There is more prosperity, there is better health, there is so much more that the world has attained since the war. So you can see. And I can't say that these things happen just on their own. Either I believe 100% in the divine grace, that there is some dynamic, some reason why this takes place, and the divine always overcomes the hostile and the negative. So in the end, even Hitler perished. And that through the law, the Brahmanic law of karma, cause and effect. And this is what I don't understand. I've tried to explain in my book. What is karma? And people think karma is only for things negative, that if you do something bad, then something bad will happen. But no, it's also for whatever good you do. And I explained that karma is a dynamic energy that is constantly in action. So, if divine created laws to keep a certain control over our actions and so on, this divine also has control over these infections or illnesses and so on. And there has to be, in the end, something that is far more than what the eyes right now can see or understand. And people are becoming desperate and are afraid. And no, this is not the way to confront, because when you're afraid, when you're scared, I know people who don't even go outside. I had people I saw come with double masks and staying away, and they're so paranoid. And fear is extremely detrimental to your immune system, to your defense system in your body, to your health. Your immune system goes down, then you become even more susceptible. So I'm saying, my God, they believe, but this is a blind faith. And either I believe in the divine or I don't. But I do not believe in the fact that I say, yes, I believe in the divine to 99% or 50%. No, either I believe in the divine or I don't. This is my attitude. And if I do believe, then I always look at the dynamics of the divine. What is it that the divine is doing? And thanks God. And this mother told me, my child, mon enfant, tu as la capacité de voir au-delà de ce que les yeux voient. You can see, my child, beyond what the eyes see. And what she was trying to tell me is this divine energies that are behind everything. How things work. What's going to be with Narad and Nilisha and others. And for me, my goodness, this pandemic problem of the world is something that is going to change the world for the better. Yes, it is causing a lot of suffering and so on, but suffering has its cause, and I think the cause of suffering is more our attitudes and how we confront our health problems. But I don't think so divine created this world for suffering. Even the Dalai Lama says, the only reason for life is to be happy. Yes, and you should have known the mother. The mother was always smiling. She was always radiant. And when you looked at Sri Aurobindo, he was all peace and he was all this divine happiness. But all inside, it doesn't have to be that joyous thing. These are different forms of happiness where you're joyous and you laugh and you enjoy. And you can see these things in the mother in Sri Aurobindo and in masters. So I, Narad, sincerely believe that this health problem of COVID-19, the coronavirus, is something that we have to confront with this inner calmness and inner being centered, what I call in my book. If you're centered within yourself, then you're centered within the divine and in Mother's and Sri Aurobindo's consciousness. And when you get into this consciousness of the Mother and Sri Aurobindo, and you become one, you go in harmony with this consciousness of the divine, automatically all these things don't scare you at all. You see them in front, but they cannot touch you.
And you are protected.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've seen in medicine miracles. And we know in science about the placebo effect. My God, they believe in placebo effect in science, but science does not believe in the divine. So if you have faith, if you believe in the divine, and you truly surrender in that sense to the divine, or you become part, you don't even have to surrender. I don't like the word surrender to the divine, which often has been used perhaps by Mother and Sri Aurobindo. I'm talking about becoming one with the divine consciousness, with Mother and Sri Aurobindo's consciousness. And the mother told me, mon fils, quand tu travailles, she said, when you work with your patients, she says, you become one with my consciousness and Sri Aurobindo's consciousness. Matter of fact, she first said, you become one with Sri Aurobindo's consciousness and my consciousness. And then, when they come in contact with you, automatically you contaminate them and you affect them with your consciousness, this divine consciousness. Because you are one with the divine consciousness.
It's the effect almost of radiation.
Yes, yes. And my God, if one can do that, if I can become one with divine consciousness, my God, how can anything like COVID-19 or anything else really affect us. And then there are ups and downs in life because we are in a biological body. And this is exactly what Sri Aurobindo is talking about, the transformation of the biological body. And some people think this transformation will be, I don't know what. They think that we'll have 4 arms and 4 legs or something. No, this transformation is when this biological body, our biological self, is not controlled by the biological brain and the cells, but is controlled by this divine consciousness, the soul, that we become one with the divine. So the body is transformed because it's not going to take anymore just these biological messages that the brain says of fear, of lust, of anger, of hate, of violence. These are things that come from our limbic center. In my book, I've even put a picture of the limbic system, where you see where all these problems come from the biological brain. And I make a difference between the biological brain. I call it the cerebral mind and the mind, which I define as a voice of the soul. It has nothing to do with the brain in that sense. The origin of mind is not the brain. It is the divine, the soul in us. And so if we confront all these health problems that are taking place right now worldwide, and it is causing a lot of disruptions. It caused me a lot of work to come here. It was very stressful. It took me longer to come this time than ever before. And all the forms and all the formalities that I had to perform, all the tests I had to go through before I could come. But that's part of the game. You know, human beings make things complicated and we have to go along with it. We can't change everything overnight. So, what? I did what they asked me because it's the law. I didn't say, no, the divine is there to protect me. I don't want vaccinations. By the way, I took my 2 vaccinations and my wife too. Because as a doctor, I know what a virus is. I know how dangerous this particular infection can be to the biological body. It's not dangerous to the soul, but to the biological body. But when we have reached what Sri Aurobindo calls even the transformation of our physical body, this is it. When it truly is under the control of the soul and therefore has also this incredible protective energy and so on. Nevertheless, I am sure there will be ups and downs. And I'm sure there will be eventually also the passing away of the body, but the soul lives on, the divine. Sri Aurobindo and Mother also left their body. Jesus Christ did the same, and so did San Francisco d'Assisi. You know, so if we can understand what Mother and Sri Aurobindo and all these great masters in the past have taught humanity, and we don't only talk about it and marvel at it and say how beautiful, but we become that wisdom and that we apply it. And this is the purpose of my book, where I say, I want people to learn how to apply the wisdom great masters like the Mother and Sri Aurobindo have given us to themselves, to realize what they want. What they want. And Mother told me, Narad, Mother told me, you don't have to transform anybody, you don't have to preach to anybody, but you help them become sovereign over themselves, where the soul becomes master over my patient. So then he is truly master over himself when the divine in him takes the control over him. So if he becomes master over himself, then he can truly pursue his life based on what he wants, what he desires. And it might be very different from what you and Nilisha and others want or I want. But Mother said, let you help them realize what they want. So I particularly don't have a message for humanity or for anybody. My God, why should I? We have enough from Mother, Sri Aurobindo and so many great masters. But what is important for me is to do Mother's work and help each person that comes to me, and including this video conference, to tell the people who are watching this video, hey, you have the power within you. Because if you believe in the divine, then in you is also the divine. You can't just say the divine is in Mother and Sri Aurobindo and nobody else. No. They are the divine, but they are also in you. This presence is there in everything. And if it is in everything, then it's also within you. So give this presence the mastery over yourself then you are not afraid of a virus. Sure, you take precautions and you don't, because if you take dirt in your hands, sure, your hands will get dirty, whether you are spiritual or not. So the same thing about a virus. Not because you are spiritual and you have the Mothers and Shri Aurobindo's consciousness that protects you, that you embrace the virus. No. You will fight the virus and you beat it. And the way you defeat this virus is at its level, at the biological level, by vaccination. More people who become immune to this illness, more people who are vaccinated, the lesser the chance of this virus to grow and to propagate. And eventually it will die away because there are no hosts, no bodies in which they can live. So automatically they will vanish. And we have done this with many other infectious diseases in the past. And this is going to happen also for the coronavirus. But meanwhile, it's up to us. Also, we can't just say, let the divine, if the divine wants me to become sick, I'll become sick. If divine wants me to be healthy, I'll remain healthy. No, that is what I call being a parasite, leaving all the responsibility in the hands of Mother and Shri Aurobindo and not taking responsibility over yourselves, because they are in you and through you they can act. I don't believe in praying, in the sense that when I pray, after my prayers, I want to perform what I prayed for. Because then they will help me. Then Lord Shri Krishna, through me, will fulfill the prayer. Because he personally is not available to fulfill what I want. But his presence in me gives me the dynamics and the energy and the knowledge and the wisdom to attain what I wanted. They help us. But this is why meditations, prayers, all these things have the importance. But I don't like this idea of being a parasite, that I leave it on them and I'll feed myself, I will survive through them. That's not fair. I want them to survive through me and not me through them in that sense. It has to be a fair game and I have to do my part. So, as far as this corona illness is concerned, my advice to all the listeners is please believe in science and in medicine. This is knowledge. It was also transmitted from Brahman. Everything is there, as Mother and Shri Aurobindo have said. Already, everything that is happening today or being created today was already created and is manifesting itself. So, the knowledge is there, the wisdom is there, applied. And my advice to you is believe in science. Don't be afraid, but believe in it and take the measures that medical doctors who are experts say do this and do that in order to protect yourself. And if you do so, then you are protected through the grace of the divine, because the grace of the divine created all these measures also.
I would like to discuss your book for a little while, because you have helped so many people in your practice, and many of them have been helped through the videos that you have done with us previously. So would you please give your email address and your phone number to everyone who is truly seeking help, not just wants a casual conversation with you?
Seeking help is the right thing, because what I don't know, I can learn from somebody who knows about it. So seeking help doesn't make you a slave and does not make you a victim, no. On the contrary, it just shows that you're open to knowledge. My name is Madhusudan Patel, and my email address is P like Patel, E like India, N like North Pole, dot Madhu, M like Mother, A like Aurobindo, D like Doris or Dharma, H like honey, and U like the universe, Madhu at gmail.com. My telephone number, I hope you can remember it. It is 0049, that is for Germany. And then my mobile number is 0157 7521883. 01575 7521883. But if you read in the book somewhere, I'm sure they have put the address in the back or somewhere, it must be there. And it's called, I named it Spirituality, Illuminated Materialism, and the Mind. And I'm talking not just of the mind, your thoughts and so on, but I'm explaining what the brain is, the cerebral mind, and the mind that I define as the voice of the soul. And then on the cover you can see there's a circle for the body, there's a circle for the mind, and there's a circle for matter. And in the middle is the soul, which is in everything. So if you look at these three circles, you will see these are the three areas, very important. And when they all three come closely together and are totally integrated, then you are self-fulfilled or self-realized. That's when you have attained, according to me, a very high level of spirituality, where then you become as happy as I am. And I don't know if I have put all three totally together or not. All I know is that I'm the happiest man on earth. And that's what counts for me. And in there should be the address and my telephone number and also my email. What is important is that you can, on your own, even if you don't read this book, if you aspire, if you really take time to think, then you will see that you have within you the powers over your personal universe, and that you can live a happy life and stop suffering. Because the meaning of life is not to suffer. The meaning of life is to be happy. And spirituality is not an arduous, hard discipline that makes you sweat and you have to work hard. No. Spirituality to me is a spontaneous thing, something really spontaneous and beautiful and pleasant. It's a lot of fun becoming your true self. And especially when you start experiencing such things as how you become one with the divine consciousness of great masters like the Mother and Sri Aurobindo, then you will understand what happiness is. And if you apply this in your work, no matter what you do, then you will see that that work also transmits this consciousness. So if you're a mechanic and you do your work and you apply in your work this consciousness, whatever you're doing is going to be done much better. And as a doctor, I use this energy. Mother told me, mon fils transmet cette conscience that you have from Sri Aurobindo and myself, and automatically your divine consciousness within you is ignited. And you start feeling better, you start getting well, and I have seen virtually miracles. Now, what is very important is that Mother had told me when I was leaving that, va mon fils, she says, go my son to study, but one day you will come back. And more time went by, and I've been away for 62 years almost. And the more time went by, I kept saying, why did Mother say I'll come back? I'm not interested in India. I had no contact with India. I had no Indian friends. Even my own family had no contact with me. Honest to God, none of my brothers or sisters, nobody in my family had contact with me. Nobody in the ashram had contact, excepting whenever I came, I was in contact with my brothers like Bhattida and Manojda especially, and Bhattida, and things like that, and naturally the Mother and Sri Aurobindo. But otherwise, whenever I came as a student, that was only the Mother and my immediate friends from the ashram with whom I grew up. But otherwise, no. And so, nobody ever wrote to me, nobody ever asked me for advice, nobody ever came to me for their health problems. Nobody ever wrote to me. And then, how many years ago was it, Nilisha, that you did my first interview with Narad? Was it 4 years ago?
Maybe 4 years ago.
4 years ago, Narad did 7 interviews with me. Here. And this was the first time that somebody asked me about my relationship with mother and how I grew up as a child in the ashram. Narad was the first. And so then, recently, last year, I received a call from an Indian gentleman, a young guy, who is living with his family, Indian family in Germany, who studied in Germany and works for a German company. He had health problems, very serious. He had been to several clinics and nobody could solve his problems. So he calls me from another city in Germany and says he's such and such person, and he has seen this video that Narad had done with me, and through this video he realized that I'm the doctor that can help him, and he's a devotee of Mother and Sri Aurobindo. His family and his relatives are all devotees of Mother and Sri Aurobindo, and they felt that he felt that I could do something for him that others have not done.
And he was far away from you.
Yes. And he came to me, to Germany. For one day, he spent a couple of hours with me and then went back. It was very far. It's a 4-hour train ride from where I am. But 2 days later, he calls me. And already same day that he did the sessions with me, he says, my goodness, I feel so much better. And then 2 days later, he calls me and he says, I can't believe my symptoms have changed. I feel much better. And he says to me, how do you get your patients, Dr. Madhusudan? Oh, by the way, and then along the time, without ever seeing me again as such in therapy or whatever, because I don't give any therapies, I'm retired, I'm 83 years old. I don't practice medicine. I don't give therapies. I don't prescribe. I only give counsel. I give advice. I explain things about them. And I do what Mother had told me. And Mother had said, touch. Because when you touch, automatically the energy is much stronger. She says, this is why when she puts her hand on my head, you become this universe. You become automatically her consciousness. So he said that he felt better, and believe it or not, his problem has been solved. So he calls me and he says, how do you get patients? How do you meet people? I met you through this video. I said, through word of mouth. And he says, that's not fair. He says, why? I said, why? He says, how many people come to your conference, for your seminar? I said, it depends. It can be 20, but it can be also 150 or 250, but that's it. He said, but that's not fair. You should be able to reach everybody on this earth. I said, that's not possible. Yes, through internet. I said, look, I don't do any marketing. I have no interest in publicity. And I have no interest in electronics and all that, for the digital science, internet and all that. So I said, I'm not a technical person, and I've been working all these years, and plenty of people have been helped. So he says, no, you should do it. I said, no, I'm not interested because I'm not technical. So 2 days afterwards, he calls me back and he says, look, I have a proposition. I am very good. He and his friend who is in Bangalore, in India, they were school friends and they're still very good friends, who are also devotees of Mother and Sri Aurobindo. He is also very good in technology and so on. So we will do the technological part, the internet part, the website and all that. We'll create a website for you. You just put the input. I said, okay, I don't mind putting the input. And that is where it started. And see, he's the responsible person. Through his video, now Indians have overtaken me, and I feel I'm a part and particle of the soul of India. And I feel now, welcome back home. Through these people. This is why I'm here. This book was published in Bangalore on the 15th of August this year, 2021, on Sri Aurobindo's birthday. They did it extra. They asked me, I had it on my computer, I had written, I said, can you finish it and can we publish it? And so I sent it to them and they did the publishing. And this is how it all began, that I've come back to India. I'll be coming back regularly. We are renovating my family home, which belongs to the mother, but I'll be living there. And so I will spend a major part of my time here in India. And when it gets hot, I will do like Narad does, escape to the United States, and I go to Europe. Or because they want me. My life is totally dedicated to my patients and to humanity. I'm not interested in tourism. I'm not interested in power. I'm not interested in possession. By the way, I don't possess anything. At the age of 23, I think, or 24, I lost something very precious in my life. I was a young man. I was studying. And at that time, I said to the mother, I don't want to possess anything. The divine has taken away from me that what was most precious for me. And mother said, don't worry, my child. Everything that you need will be there. And what you lost will come back to you. And since that day, I don't possess. Everything is in Helga's name. Every single cent goes to Helga. And now every single cent that comes through donations, I don't charge fees, goes to this trust that was created that published this book. It is called Pragati.life. So if you look up the website, www.pragati.life, you will see our website where all the videos of Narad that he did with me, I think 7 or more, plus some videos that were done with these associates of mine. They created a trust called Pragati Life. I'm part of that trust. I didn't want to be the chief trustee. And everything that comes goes to Pragati Trust. It's a non-profit thing to do Mothers and Sri Aurobindo's work, not to propagate their work, but to help people apply Sri Aurobindo's and Mother's wisdom, what they taught mankind, to apply in their personal life and attain what they want. So you see through a video done by Narad, people have started calling me from all over India, from United States, from Germany, from Italy. I've been practicing in Italy, and I have a studio, a practice in Italy. I go there every month for 10 to 12 days, and there are a lot of patients. And I had come many years ago with a group of Italian devotees of Mother and Sri Aurobindo, because they created this center in Italy in Turin, called Centro Mira, Mira Center, Mother's Center. And they asked me to lead that center. So I give seminars there, consultation there, and lectures. And this group, but other people also, call me from all over due to the videos that Narad did. So you can see how Mother's work, her prophecy that I will come back, is taking place through Narad and Nilisha. They are the culprits who brought me back home. But I'm grateful to them. I'm grateful. I love India. I am not fond of the chaos in India. I don't like the aesthetics. But the philosophy, Hinduism, which I think is a great wisdom, it's for me fascinating. And so I understand the divinities that Hinduism teaches as energies, various energies to which Hinduism gave identity by calling them Shri Krishna, Shiva, Lakshmi, and so on. So it gives identity through name of gods. And so it interests me because I'm very interested in the field of energies, or in the field of occultism. This is what Mother told me. Occultism is the science of energies, to learn how each energy works, what it is, and how you can manipulate it in order to apply it for specific purposes. So I do that in my work, especially when it comes to helping people, regardless of whether it's a health problem or whether it is an economical problem. Politicians come to me and so on. I help them realize things through this particular field of energies, and the divine is an energy. So this is the story of Narad and Madhusudan. Mother had said I'd come back. I'm back. And I want you to take advantage of my work. I'm here to serve anybody and everybody, and nobody has an obligation towards me all what is important is that you apply this great knowledge that Mother and Sri Aurobindo have put at our disposition to your life. And I will help you in teaching you how you can realize by yourself all these things that Mother and Sri Aurobindo have taught. I can't tell you what they have taught because you can read it. It's in their books. And my book talks about them in the sense that Mother and Sri Aurobindo, but I do not teach in this book what is Mother's and Sri Aurobindo's, what are their words and all that. That you have to read yourself.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I hope we can continue with another video very soon.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Namaste.